just about that time. It's time to go racing, and just as we go live, Explorian subscribing with his Amazon Prime account. Big shout out to Explorian. He's cheering for number 21, Chris Murphy. And just like Explorian, you too can subscribe with your Amazon Prime. That means you get ad-free Rick James TV when you subscribe. You do get that one free subscription every month. And this is the di9 Designs Turn Down for What Xfinity Series, coming to you from iRacing's Martinsville. Points leader Nate Lehman has the pole. Corey Blevins is on his outside. Row 2, Hunter Peach and Cole Snyder coming to the green flag. Typical Life also cheering for Chris Murphy. It's Nate Lehman's championship to lose. He starts from the front, but will he finish there? Green flag is out. Nate Lehman leading that first lap after green. Corey Blevins in second. Hunter Peach moves into third on the inside of Cole Snyder in that 2-4. Then the 1-7 of Zach Meredith fills the space in the NOS Energy Chevrolet. Jeff Lednam sits back in that 3-7. Mississippi's Josh Arnold in the 2-2. Sundrop Machine comes into seventh. Nate Lehman already goes purple, 2-0-4-8. Typical Life 9 in the chat, cheering for the 2-1 of Chris Murphy. And the 71 of Mike Campbell, sitting 9th and 13th, respectively. Corey Blevins trying to get a move early on, but Nate Lehman starting to pull away with this one. Blevins comes into this race 6th in points. Nate Lehman comes into this race with a 52-point lead with 4 races remaining and already a half-second advantage. 4 laps complete, and as we mentioned, it's Nate Lehman's championship to lose. Chris Murphy sits in second. Josh Arnold is in that third spot in the points standings. And there's the 2-6 of Hunter Peach making some contact to that outside wall. The 2-4 of Cole Snyder now on the inside of Hunter Peach and starting to run away with this one, while the 2-6 makes repeated contact with that outside wall and that 2-6 TRD Toyota Camry of Hunter Peach. Just trying to get stable in these first few laps. Josh Arnold right behind him, putting the pressure early on in this 169-lap competition. Let's ride around with the Mississippi native who almost puts the bumper to the 2-6 of Hunter. Jake Millsap in the 1-9. He's behind Jeff Lednam. Cole Snyder just went purple with a 20.35 second lap. Quickest circuit of this half-mile track so far with 160 laps to go. The Pennsylvania native sits in third at the moment. Corey Blevins in fourth. Nate Lehman has been reeled in by the 48. Blevins in that 4-8 car, now mounting an attack on that Mr. Lehman number 1-4 Ford F-150. And a little bit of a shout out to the school teacher side here. Typical Life 9 asking, why is Allen out? Talking about Mike Allen in that 1-8. Out of the race, just did not qualify. And Allen, although registered for the race, did not set a qualifying time, did not start this competition. So 14 cars on the racetrack of the 15 that registered. Josh Franks right now sitting 14th of those 14. The Valvoline Chevrolet slams down onto the concrete, and you can see a bit of an erratic line through the third and fourth corner. Franks is just going to have to make up that time. But right now, it's Nate Lehman who's under the most pressure. Corey Blevins behind him in that 48 has reeled him in 14, 48, 24. Your top three, 13 laps into this one. Blevins putting the pressure on Mr. Lehman in that 14 car, but will he make that stick? Will he make that last? Chris Murphy in the 2-1 lost the 11th position to Jarrett Manning. Papa Bear Campbell already down pit road. Something's gone on with that 71. Let's have a look and see what happened to Papa. Just went in hot, just hit the wall there and right almost into the 6 of Josh Franks. Great way to avoid that one. We stay green. Papa Bear Campbell rejoins the racing surface in 14th. Nate Lehman leads. Corey Blevins behind him, still by that 0.3 of a second margin. Further on back, Mississippi's Josh Arnold trying to chase down the 1-7 of Zach Meredith. My apologies to Tristan Bailey in last night's AER race from Mississippi. I said he was from the great state of Missouri. That's my bad. Should have known that the MS was for Mississippi. Hunter Peach in that 2-6. Coming up behind the 5 of Josh Arnold, you're looking at 4th, 5th, and 6th, respectively. The 17 of Zach Meredith comes into this race second in the points. I'm sorry, not second. He was second in the point standings. Meredith finds himself 11th in the point standings. He's got 306 markers. He's about 28 points behind that of Kyle Taub, who did not register for tonight's race. So Meredith certainly going to make up plenty of places as he climbs up through the field. Jose Ruiz in that 2-3 Dude Wipes Chevrolet, chasing down Jake Millsap for 8th. Ruiz to the inside, can't quite pull off the move just yet. Ruiz has had a good, consistent string of runs over the last few races, and he's looking to keep that together, trying to find himself solidly in the top 5 when the checkered flag flies on the season 4 weeks from now. Michigan, Chicagoland, Charlotte, the final 3 races of the season, and we'll see which driver has the stuff. Nate Lehman still leading. Corey Blevins does not relent. Josh Arnold in the 2-2 still all over the back end of Zach Meredith. And it's really a patience game at this point. Drivers having to line up the position, find out when they can make that pass. Josh Arnold timed that one perfectly on Zach Meredith. And the Mississippi native is into 4th. Cole Snyder is next, 3 seconds ahead in the 2-4 DuPont Chevy. Explorian in the chat asks, what are the top speeds on this track here? Well, we see some drivers hitting about 118 miles an hour into that 3rd corner. Nate Lehman, 115. Corey Blevins, 118. Cole Snyder, 118. Get to see anybody go past 118, but obviously they'd have to hit the brakes at that point. .25 laps underway. The 2-2 of Josh Arnold sitting in 4th. Zach Meredith is behind him. Chris Murphy on the cusp of the top 10, looking to go to the inside of Enrique Quinones, and the 2-1 Burger King Supra still outside that top 10 coming into this round of racing. Washington's Murph, again, second in those point standings, a great distance behind Nate Lehman. Josh Arnold, 25 points behind Chris Murphy, but running 7 positions ahead on the racetrack. Typical Life asking, what's the fastest speed this season? Oh, that's a great question. Could not tell you. No idea. But I would assume it'd have to be somewhere in the upper 180s, possibly Talladega is where you'd see some of the season's highest speeds. Nate Lehman stuck behind the 6 of Sugar Hands. Franks running in that 13th position. Frank's about to go another lap down to the race leader, Nate Lehman, but he's trying to fight hard. This is Corey Blevins' most opportune moment to see what he can get off the 1-4. Philip the Cat in the background cheering on these furious drivers trying to run through the very last 4 races of their season. Leader Nate Lehman gets around the 6 of Josh Franks. Corey Blevins now trying to do the same. Hung up just a little bit with that Valvoline Chevy. But now to the inside, he's got the right line to keep it moving forward. Cole Snyder 1 second behind the top 2, as it were. Now the 9 and the 6. These two fighting for position. Enrique Quinones in 12th, Josh Franks in 13th. Now they're going to swap positions as the 9 of Q-Dog goes a bit too high, wide, and handsome. Typical Life asking for the fastest lap today. That goes to both Cole Snyder and Corey Blevins, 20.35 seconds apiece. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see which of your favorite drivers have run their fastest laps. So far, 20.3 seconds, the time to beat. Ruiz in the 2-3 behind the 1-9 of Millsap. This still the ongoing fight for the 8th position. Jake Millsap holding strong in that 8th spot, but the big question is, when will tires give way? There's Jeff Lednam in the 7th position, kind of on an island by himself. Jeff is 4.5 seconds behind Hunter Peach in 6th, 2.5 seconds ahead of Jake Millsap, who of course has Jose Ruiz and Chris Murphy sandwiching him in that 9th position right now. Jared Manning finds himself in 11th, some 8 seconds off the pace of Murph. Nate Lehman still at the front. He's led every lap so far. Jose Ruiz now to the inside of the 1-9 of Jake Millsap, trying to take Chris Murphy with him. There goes Murphy in the 2-1. He hits the curb, gets into the 19 of Jake Millsap, who goes for a spin. Caution comes out for the first time today at Martinsville. Let's have a look one more time at that accident. Watch the 2-1 of Chris Murphy on the inside. Just gets a bit too eager, sends it in hot, bounces into the 19 of Jake Millsap, who just barely keeps it off that wall. And the 1-9 Ghost Chevrolet stays damage-free. So that's going to invite everybody to come down pit road. I do mean just about everybody coming on through. So as the drivers take their first break, we're going to try and do the same. 38 laps in the books of the scheduled 169. Points leader Nate Lehman still with great control of the field. Fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be back for more di9 Designs Xfinity Racing from Martinsville. Lights are out atop the pace car as Corey Blevins will have control of the field when we restart this race. Nate Lehman on the outside, Blevins in second, Cole Snyder in third. Everybody except Sugar Hands Franks came down pit road for tires. We'll see how that affects the driver of the 6 car. The Georgian is now 40 laps behind on Goodyear's. Corey Blevins and Nate Lehman will have control of the front row, waiting for the signal. Green flag is out. Lehman on the outside of Corey Blevins in that 4-8. Still another drag race for the lead out of turn number 4. Lehman has the advantage into that first corner. Blevins on the inside line just can't quite defend. But there goes the 14, loses control out of the second corner, and that will shoot Corey Blevins into the top spot. Josh Arnold looking to solidify third, but he's got Cole Snyder to his outside in that 2-4, and he's made it. Chevy, Ford, your top 3 with Mississippi's Josh Arnold slotting into third. Nate Lehman in second, Corey Blevins leading this race. Zach Meredith now behind Cole Snyder in that 2-4. That's the battle for fourth. Millsap, Manning, Murphy. Jake Millsap sitting in the 12th position, 1 lap off the pace after that incident. Jarrett Manning in the 7th finds himself on the lead lap, and 10th place Chris Murphy sits behind that 7 car. There's the 2-1 Burger King Supra. Once again comes into this race with a pretty distant second place in those point standings. But anything can happen in these last 4 rounds, and Murph trying his hardest in the chat. Typical Life says, poor 71. Talking about Mike Papa Bear Campbell sitting 2 laps down right now. The Tiger Town Trucking Ford is back on the racetrack and making up that time. Shout out to Mama Vols into the chat, who earlier said, hey y'all, hey Rick. Mama Vols, the one and only, and you gotta say, the biggest fan of Rick James TV. What's going on, Mama? Send my love to the family. You haven't missed much, Ma. 50 laps about to be completed. Corey Blevins leads this race for the first time since the green flag flew. Nate Lehman sits in the 2nd position, and Josh Arnold up 6 places from where he started so far, but Cole Snyder doesn't seem to take that too lightly. The 2-4 is on the attack, and the 22 is on defense. The battle rages on for that 4th position, and there you see 118 miles an hour into turns 1 and 3, respectively. Corey Blevins, half a second ahead of Nate Lehman, 1 second back to Josh Arnold in 3rd. Single file for the most part. Drivers trying to take their liberties now that they have some heat in those fresh tires, and they know what they want to do with their race cars. If you just recently tuned in, I'm Rick James. You're watching di9 Designs. Turn down for what? Race number 13 from Martinsville Speedway. Points leader Nate Lehman chasing down Corey Blevins. 0.6 is the gap between the 14 and the 48. Mississippi's Josh Arnold trying to hold off Pennsylvania's Cole Snyder. And the NOS man, Zach Meredith, in that 1-7 Chevrolet, sitting in 5th. Hunter Peach behind him in that 2-6. Last season's points runner-up. Looks quite a distant task from getting the same kind of finish this season, but Peach is only one marker behind Corey Blevins, who's currently leading this race. Jose Ruiz directly behind Hunter Peach right now. Cole Snyder, Josh Arnold, the other drivers that are ahead of him in points, also ahead of him on the racing surface. This season, Hunter Peach has had his work cut out for him, but he still holds on to a well-earned 7th place points position right now. The 2-3 of Jose Ruiz wants his 6th position on track. That curb can be your best friend or your worst enemy, as we saw Chris Murphy in the 2-1. He hit that curb quite too hard and sent the 19 of Jake Millsap for quite an interesting spin in turn 1. Let's have another look. This is what brought out caution number 1. Keep your eye on the 2-1 on your left. Just hops the curb, nowhere for Millsap to go. Innocent bystander in that one, and that brought out caution number 1. Jake Millsap finds himself one lap down in the 12th position. Murph is up to 9th at the moment. He finds himself on the lead lap. He just got around Jarrett Manning, and Jeff Lednum sits ahead of Chris Murphy by 6.8 seconds. Josh Arnold still in 3rd as you see Jake Millsap trying to hold off race leader Corey Blevins, but nothing he can do about that. That 4.8 Hasib Design Camaro just too strong for that 19, and he makes light work of that 19 car. So Corey Blevins leading by 1.8 seconds over Nate Lehman, but is the 48 pushing it too hard, too fast? Is he trying to bait points leader Nate Lehman into a mistake? We already saw one mistake when the 48 was able to get around the 1-4 who got loose out of 2, and it's moments like that that could turn a race that requires an error-free performance into one that says that's where the championship went. Again, 4 races to go, including this, so technically less than 4 races to go, fewer than 4 races, I should say. Nate Lehman coming into this 13th round with a 52-point gap, the 71 of Mike Allen on the high side, while drivers try to funnel around the Tiger Town trucking forward. Everyone does so safely for the most part. The 71 runs in position number 13. 13 cars still running as Sugar Hand Franks and Mike Allen both being scored out of this race. Zach Meredith in the 1-7, falling off the pace of Cole Snyder in that 2-4, and Hunter Peach has taken notice. 67 laps underway and just over 100 circuits remaining at the Martinsville Speedway. Corey Blevins, Nate Lehman, Josh Arnold, your top 3. Meredith in the 1-7 with a big skid at a turn number 4, and Zach Meredith gets on the gas just a bit too soon. That allows the 2-6 of Hunter Peach to get within striking distance, but will Hunter have the timing to put his Supra to the inside of the NOS Camaro? He's put his bumper to the back, and he's got to hope for another slide out of the 1-7. Hunter Peach holds it this time around. Meredith, Peach, Ruiz, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Timing genuinely is everything at this racetrack, with drivers having to use their skill and their cunning, knowing when to send the car deep into the corner. Peach not just dive bombing the 17, but keeping the pressure steady, as Nate Lehman seems to finally have gotten his groove back. Over the last 5 laps, Corey Blevins has consistently been pulling away from Lehman, but now it seems like the school teacher is catching up to the young Corey Blevins in that 48. The gap was 2 seconds, and it is dwindling as the laps go by. It's been a nice lead for Corey Blevins so far, but over the last 3 laps, he's been slower than Nate Lehman and perhaps the 14 car, just saving resources or making sure that the tires heat up all the way through. They seem to be evenly cooked, and the 14 is about to come out of the oven with a vengeance on the 48 of Corey Blevins. From a wide angle, you can see why they call this place the Paperclip. It is indeed quite the paperclip shape. Martinsville Speedway, and also one of the oldest tracks in NASCAR. Been running here since the late 40s. And now the turn down for what Xfinity Series, making good use of it as we quickly approach halfway. Corey Blevins still leading by 1.3 seconds. Josh Arnold in more immediate danger, however. Bit of a slide for the 2-2. Cole Snyder now lines up the pass on the inside. Gets the grip from the concrete in turn 1. Slides a bit high out of turn 2. Cuts off the 2-2. And a textbook pass into the 3rd corner. Hunter Peach in the 2-6. Now looking to go on the outside of the 17 car. Zach Meredith holding on strong, but when will the tires give out? These drivers last pitting on lap 38 in the di9 Designs Track Facts, predicting they'll be able to go about 65 laps on one full tire and fuel run. We'll see if they stretch it. We'll see if they come in sooner than that. They do get 4 sets of tires, 4 tire changes, it should be said. We'll see who makes the best use of those good years by the time the checkered flag flies. Blevins, Lehman, Snyder, still your top 3, but Nate Lehman has finally caught up within 1.2 seconds. Will the 14 put the moves on the 48 of Corey Blevins, or will he just sweat him down through the rest of the pit stop cycle? Looking back from Corey Blevins, you can see the gap has dwindled considerably. Car 14 is on the move. Now within 1 second, he's within striking distance. Cole Snyder 2.8 seconds behind. Josh Arnold, however, also falling off the pace of 3rd. Snyder pulling away from the 2-2 of Arnold, while his rivals slowly reel him in. Zach Meredith just ahead of Hunter Peach and Jose Ruiz. You're looking at 4th through 7th right now. Peach, is he getting impatient with the 1-7? Is the 2-3 starting to get impatient with the 2-6? Still more than half of this race remaining, if my math is right, which it never is. I think there's more than half. Yeah, still more than half this race remaining, I think, just barely. But you're looking at Zach Meredith in the 1-7 with a very concentrated defense effort, forcing the 2-6 of Hunter Peach to look to the high side, possibly trying to force a mistake due to impatience. We'll see what strategy the 2-6 employs further on up ahead. Corey Blevins has been caught up by Nate Lehman, but here's Jake Millsap just up ahead of these leaders. What will the lapped cars have to say about this? Millsap is 2 laps down. Enrique Quiñones, the lucky dog, is just up ahead in 11th. What role will the lap cars play this time? Will Millsap make way? Will he give a rough time to the leader? What will Nate Lehman do? Let's find out. As the adage goes, it's one thing to catch him, and it's another thing to pass him. Let's ride shotgun with the 14. Caution comes out. Hunter Peach has run into an incident. The 2-6 with some damage to the nose and the right-hand side. You saw Nate Lehman in the 14 not able to make his way around the 4-8. Let's see what happened to Hunter in the 2-6. Just got loose under his own power, spun similarly to Jake Millsap, but this time with no external help. One more ride on board of the 2-6. Too much input. Off throttle oversteer, as some might call it. And just about everybody comes down for tires and fuel. All of the lead lap top 10. Race leader Corey Blevins is in, and we eagerly await to see who's going to win the race off pit road. Lap cars getting their laps back. There's the 1-4 of Lehman in the distance. You got cars moving around the outside. We'll see who beats who to that green line. And it's going to be the 48 of Corey Blevins who wins the race off pit road. He'll have control when we go back to green. See if we can get a quick word with Corey while he's out in the lead. Corey Blevins, Rick James up top. Can you hear me? Corey Blevins, Rick James, you got a copy? Nothing from Corey, so we're going to let him get back to work. No worries there. But the 4-8 leads. Nate Lehman sits in second. Cole Snyder is in third. 91 laps about to be completed of the scheduled 169. This is lucky round number 13 at the Martinsville Speedway. Corey Blevins leads. He will lead when we go to green, fans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 90 seconds with more racing from the paperclip. Pace car peels off. We're ready to go racing again. Corey Blevins to the inside of Nate Lehman. 92 laps complete. Waiting for the jump from the 48 car. Green flag. Let's go racing. .48 ahead of the 14. Cole Snyder in tow. 95 laps now completed from the Martinsville Speedway. Josh Arnold in second. Zach Meredith sits in third. Corey Blevins with a new fastest lap. 20.33 seconds. He's gone purple yet again. .32 from both Corey Blevins and Nate Lehman. 3 consecutive fastest laps in just 2 circuits. One from Corey Blevins, well, 2 from Corey Blevins, 1 from Nate Lehman. And we'll see if they do it again. Nate Lehman does. 20.30 seconds. Lehman with back-to-back purple laps in this race so far in the 14 car has good intentions of taking that lead, but he's got to string those times together. Corey Blevins now leading by half a second. Cole Snyder all up the trumpet of that 1-4 car with Josh Arnold in tow. Zach Meredith sits in 5th. Enrique Quiñones sitting in 10th. Jared Manning just behind him in 11th. Both of these drivers fighting for that 10th position. Arnold all over the back end of the 2-4. Cole Snyder still just ahead. Hunter Peach, who went around during that last yellow, has a bit of space to think for himself. Chris Murphy ahead by just over 1 second, and Enrique Quiñones 0.8 behind. Meanwhile, Jose Ruiz takes advantage of Jeff Lednam getting loose out of turn number 4, and the Sacramento pilot is up 7 places into position number 6. Blevins showing the same strategy he had after the restart before last, I should say, after the first restart. Just go everything out to the wall and see what happens. He's extended his gap over Nate Lehman to 0.8 seconds. Nate Lehman's in second with Cole Snyder in third. Again, a repeat of the same pattern we saw after the first restart, but this time the laps continue to dwindle. Just over 65 laps remain in round 13. Nate Lehman with a mirror full of Cole Snyder. Josh Arnold sits in 4th. Zach Meredith rounding out your top 5. Q-Dog Quiñones rounding out the top 10 with Jared Manning behind him in that 7. Duke Chevrolet headed into this 13th round of competition. Jared Manning finds himself 25th in the points, but all the drivers ahead of him in points, all the way up to 19th. Jake Millsap not present in tonight's race. Manning stands to gain a good load of points if he can just manage to finish. Jeff Lednam in the 3-7, also looking to keep his place in the top 10. Lednam finds himself 3 points behind Q-Dog, 5 points ahead of Kyle Taub. Again, not in the starting lineup tonight. Chris Murphy chasing down the 37 car. This for 7th. Murph comes into this race 2nd in points. Lednam, can he hold on Murphy really knocking on the door, and he's not going to ask politely for many more laps. Arnold in the double deuce. Sits ahead of Zach Meredith. He's in that 4th spot. Meredith in 5th has Jose Ruiz starting to creep up. Corey Blevins can't extend his lead greater than 0.8 of a second. Cole Snyder sitting in 3rd has the 2-2 starting to show up in that shadow. But now the 2-2 has to worry about holding off Zach Meredith in the 1-7. Fourth, 5th, and 6th, respectively, as Zach Meredith hits the gas way too much, and it's been a story of not making any errors. The 1-7 car steps on the gas with a bit too much vigor, and it costs him. Meanwhile, Jeff Lednam continues to fall through that running order. Hunter Peach in the 2.6 TRD Supra. Now to the inside of the Snap-on Ford, and Easton, Maryland's Jeff Lednam just looks to pick up the pieces. He's on the cusp of leaving the Fast 9 with Jarrett Manning 3 seconds behind, and Enrique Quinones quickly up the tailpipes of that Blue Devils Camaro. Blevins still leading by more than half a second. These drivers last pitting on lap 89, so they're going to get roughly 30 laps of wear. In these Goodyears, it's still a one-stop race to the end. So these drivers can't rely on these tires and fuel all the way to the checkered. Points leader Nate Lehman has finally caught Corey Blevins, but this time, will Blevins be saved by the yellow? Out of that second corner, Nate Lehman, last time he caught the 48, just took a deep breath and was riding around the Hasib Design Chevrolet for several laps before the yellow came out. Will he enjoy the same luxury, or will he squeeze the pedal a bit, turn the screw, and try to force a mistake out of the 48 car? The 7 of Zach Meredith over the last 5 laps, sort of consistently quicker than Jose Ruiz these last 2 circuits. The 17, after making that mistake, has to make sure he makes no more, because one more mistake, really, if he doesn't catch the car, could be the end of his race. Drivers have no fast repairs in this race, and they need to make sure that they keep their race cars in one solid piece. Half a second the difference between Sacramento's Jose Ruiz and McGee's Josh Arnold. The top 3, however, have been in a class of their own. Pennsylvania's Cole Snyder has a 1.4 second gap to second and a 1.8 second gap to third, so there's nothing for Cole to do but just ride around and save his stuff. Meanwhile, Nate Lehman in that 1-4, patiently biding his time behind that 4-8. Last week, Lehman, the first driver to secure 3 wins this season, obviously looking to be the first driver to get 4 wins this season and get one step closer to clinching that title. He's about 2 rounds away from clinching it with a 52-point gap. But we'll see what happens at the end of this race. His closest championship rival, Chris Murphy, currently runs in the 7th position right now, only 0.5 of a second ahead of Hunter Peach, and almost 2 seconds behind 6th place, Zach Meredith. Just over 45 laps remaining in this race. Corey Blevins continues to lead Nate Lehman by a half second. Jarrett Manning now behind Jeff Lednam This is the battle for that 10th position, and the Blue Devil Camaro wants a piece of the Snap-on Ford, but now it's the Michelob Ultra Chevrolet that has to look in his mirror for car 37. In the chat saying, what up, Rick? Kurt, glad to have you on board, buddy. Thank you so much. Welcome into the chat. You have not missed a lot, but the 48 and the 14 have been swapping positions and really going at it pretty tough since that second restart. We have just over 40 laps remaining at the paperclip, and now Nate Lehman starts to go on the attack. Corey Blevins just ahead, but for how long will those tires hold on? White Walker 86 saying Lehman running away with the points. We were just saying a few laps ago that 52 points is enough to clinch the title with one round remaining. So he's about 2 races away from clinching the championship. So still plenty of work to be done. Plenty of opportunities where a lack of focus could cost Nate Lehman this championship. Chevy, Ford, Chevy, your top 3 with Cole Snyder in the 2-4 car, diligently staying in that bronze medal spot. White Walker 86 said, dude is having a Bane type of season. Talking about Jordan Bane in that 2-8 car. Anybody who knows Jordan Bane knows he will put on an unbelievable performance from start to finish. Season 2 won the championship by 14 points, and in Season 1, Jordan Bane was your championship by just 5 markers here. So this third season, Nate Lehman carrying a 52-point lead into this 13th round is simply unprecedented. Blevins, Lehman, Snyder. Your top 3. Further on back, Jose Ruiz, now behind Josh Arnold in that 2-2. The Sacramento driver up 8 places so far, and he wants to make it 9. But once again, when will these Goodyears give way to the tire wear? The dude wipes Chevrolet all over the Southern Beverage Company Sundrop 22. White Walker 86 says, my driver Murphy hanging in there for second in the points. It has been a 7th place kind of day for Murph. He's certainly seen better days in the Burger King colors. The 2-6 of Hunter Peach now comes behind Murph. He wants that 7th position over the last 5 laps. Chris Murphy consistently stuck ahead of Hunter Peach, and Hunter just trying to find daylight around car 21. Typical life, cheering for Chris Murphy to get that win. Anything still possible with just over 35 laps remaining in this 13th round. Corey Blevins now catching up to Jake Millsap in the 19 car. Will Millsap play the role of pick yet again? Millsap not closing the door to the 48, going way high there with a little bit of a scrape to that outside wall. But hats off to Jake Millsap getting out of the way of the top 2. Nate Lehman is there, but he has yet to try and make the pass. On the 48 car, Corey Blevins looking to come up with another win this season. His first win. Now that I think about it, Blevins is winless this season. He's the second highest driver in the points without a W, the other being Jose Ruiz. Ruiz running 5th at the moment. 3/10 the difference between the top two. Cole Snyder running 3rd. He's got 2 wins this season. Obviously, Nate Lehman, we mentioned. He's got 3 wins this season. Josh Arnold, he's got 1 win this season. So Jose Ruiz and Corey Blevins, the only 2 drivers of the top 5 that have yet to go to victory lane. And with 31 laps remaining, Blevins must focus harder than ever. He's catching up to Jeff Lednam, who is trying to get a move on around the 9 of Enrique Quiñones. Lednam to the inside. He sees the leaders coming, and there goes Q-Dog into the wall. The 48 of Blevins quickly dives to the left-hand side to avoid Quiñones in the 9, and Lehman looks to go with him. He just can't clear him out of turn number 2, but he'll get no protest from the 9. 4.814, still the first 2 141 laps now underway of the scheduled 169. Further on back, Jose Ruiz still behind the 2-2 of Josh Arnold. When will the 23 make his move? Will these drivers go all the way? It seems like without a yellow, they will go all the way on tires and fuel. Jeff Lednam can no longer escape the quick pace of car 48. The 3-7 makes way for the top 2, and Corey Blevins now leaves 8 cars on the lead lap. Blevins, Lehman, and there is a very distant Cole Snyder. 3.8 seconds the gap between them. Josh Arnold in 4th. Jose Ruiz in that 5th position, up 8 places since the green flag flew, and he's our hardest charger thus far. There's Arnold ahead in the 2-2, and is it just me, or did that sun come out from behind some clouds? That's certainly going to affect the track temperature, and maybe it's just going to get a bit more slick as the tires wear on. 25 laps now remain for Corey Blevins in car 48. There goes Millsap. Jake Millsap spinning. Can he hold on to it? He keeps it moving just on the outside, right off the wall. Millsap keeps going, but caution comes out anyway. Jeff Lednam crashes out of turn number 4, and with 24 circuits to go, caution number 3 flies at Martinsville. Let's see what happened to the 19 of Jake Millsap. And yet again, just before Nate Lehman pounces, Corey Blevins is saved by the caution. Once again, here's what happened to Millsap on lap 141. A little too much power. And he does indeed keep it off the wall just barely. Now let's see what happened to Jeff Lednam. Same story in the 3-7. Same story in the 3-7, a bit too vigorous with the right foot. Jeff able to keep it off the wall. Caution number 3 flies at Martinsville. All of the top 8 coming down pit road. They will take a break. Let's see who wins the race off pit road. You'll see there's the yellow car of Nate Lehman. He's parked. Corey Blevins parked behind them. This could be the money stop. This could be for all the marbles. How many tires will go on? We see it's 4 tires for the 48, 4 tires for the 14 as well. There's the 14. He's down. He's away. Nate Lehman will be your race leader inside the final 20 laps of action. Fans, don't go anywhere. Nate Lehman has just set us up for an unbelievable finish. He and Cole Snyder will be 1-2. Corey Blevins leaving pit road in 8th. Was it a speeding penalty for the 48 car? Did he take too much fuel? A total pit stop time of 24.1 seconds, almost 10 seconds off of the rest of his competitors. Corey Blevins quite possibly may have sped on the way into pit road and penalized himself out of winning this race. That puts Chris Murphy into 4th, Jose Ruiz into 3rd, Josh Arnold now in 2nd. Cole Snyder will have control of the field. Points leader, Nate Lehman in 7th, Corey Blevins in 8th. And this just got a lot more interesting. Fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 60 seconds with the final 18 laps of racing. Snyder and Arnold with control of the front row, waiting for that green flag signal. 18 to go. Let's go racing. Cars fanning out wide behind him. A lot of these drivers on cold tires just trying to survive. Points leader Nate Lehman into 5th. Chris Murphy falls out of the top 5 into 7th. Cole Snyder leading this race, looking to be the 2nd driver to win 3 races this season. Drivers going wide. Josh Arnold, Zach Meredith making contact. Caution comes out for the 4th time today. Zach Meredith goes for a spin in the 3rd corner, and he must have spilled his energy drink. Let's see what happened on lap 153. Unprovoked, the 17 just got loose into the corner. The 2-2 of Josh Arnold scraped the wall to avoid him. Have another look, though. You can see he locked up the left front. Don't know if the tires were still somewhat cold or if he just got a little bit desperate. But Zach Meredith and Josh Arnold both coming down to cure what ails them. Cole Snyder still at the front. 2-time winner this season. Is he coming down for tires with 15 to go? He is not. Everybody's staying out for tires and fuel. Cole Snyder, Jose Ruiz, Nate Lehman, your top 3. 14 laps to go now. See if we can get a quick word with our race leader. Cole Snyder, Rick James up top. Can you hear me?
What's up, buddy?
You got the pride of Pennsylvania on your back, Cole. Everybody watching in anticipation, wondering what you're going to do in the 2-4. What's it going to take to win?
A strong prayer, and just got to hit my marks, man. These dudes behind me are fast. Nathan and Corey, they've been the class of the field. I'm just happy to be up here just with a chance. I'm going to give it all I can, though.
Who's your toughest challenge on the way to victory lane, Cole?
This entire field with the way these cautions come out.
Well, only one thing to do, buddy. Pull the belts tight, keep the shiny side up. Hopefully we talk to you at the end.
10-4.
We're going to let Cole get back to work. Jose Ruiz behind him in that 2-3 car. Typical Life in the chat says, come on, Murphy, top 3. He sees his boy Chris in that 5th position. Corey Blevins, who quite possibly might have penalized himself out of a win earlier, sits in that 4th position. Nate Lehman will be restarting in row number 2. Jose Ruiz and Cole Snyder will have control of the front row. It will be 11 laps to go when we get that green flag. Snyder, Ruiz, Lehman, your top 3. 3 races remain after this finish. Martinsville tonight, obviously. Michigan next week. Chicagoland in the semifinal. And 111 laps at the Charlotte Motor Speedway to settle this championship. But before we get there, Cole Snyder has to take control of this green flag. Everybody getting stacked up. Look at these drivers hitting the brakes, trying to get heat in these tires. It will be 11 circuits remaining, less than 6 miles to go. Cole Snyder with control of the field. He gets the jump and we're racing again. To go, 9 next time by. Corey Blevins hits the wall on those cold tires. Q-Dog jumps up to 5th after being a couple of laps down earlier in this race. There goes Corey Blevins. He's spun courtesy of Josh Arnold. Yellow flag comes out, coming to 9 laps to go. And the desperation just set in. Corey Blevins going for a spill. And let's see if it was contact that sent him around, and it looked like it was contact indeed from the 22. See if we can wind this back just a bit further, possibly take a look from the fender of Josh Arnold. We'll slow this one down here and get a close look on the front of that 2-2. Saw Arnold locked the left front. Doesn't look like anything intentional at all, but Corey Blevins catching the worst end of that, and the 48 gets sent down to 10th. More laps tick off for Cole Snyder, but now he's got the toughest challenge of them all. Nate Lehman in the 1-4 car sits behind the DuPont Chevrolet. We'll be restarting inside the final 6 laps of racing. Snyder, Lehman, Ruiz, 24, 14, 2-3. Your top 3. This one's getting good. If you've recently tuned in, Amrik James, you're watching di9 Designs. Turned down for what from iRacing's Martinsville Speedway? Cole Snyder looking to get his 3rd win of the season. Nate Lehman looking to get win number 4 and put this championship to bed as soon as possible. And we still have all our green, white, checkered attempts remaining. Everybody backing up, trying to get in line for this restart. It'll be 5 laps to go, roughly. Well, no, it looks like it'll be 4 laps to go, actually. So the laps really ticking down. Nate Lehman will not have a lot of time. Both he and Cole Snyder pitted on lap 147. Josh Arnold pitted on lap 154. Zach Meredith 2 laps after him on lap 156. They've got the second freshest tires out there. Corey Blevins is in 11th on the lead lap. Corey has the freshest good ears of them all, and he's certainly going to put them to work inside the final 4 laps. Fans, don't move a muscle. We'll be back in 30 seconds with this restart. Waiting for the signal. 4 laps to go. Cole Snyder gets the green. We're racing again. Lehman trying to squeeze him down on the inside of turn number 1, but Cole Snyder does not take that sitting down. The 2-4 using all of the middle lane out of turn number 2. Nate Lehman really forcing the issue, but Cole Snyder will use the short distance on the inside line. Peach to the outside. Lehman hits the wall or has to check up out of 4. Whatever the case, it gives Cole Snyder a grand advantage. Here comes Jose Ruiz to the inside, and the points leader in trouble. Sacramento's Jose Ruiz and the dude wipes Camaro, trying to challenge for second. 2 laps to go this time by. Nate Lehman stuck on the outside of 4. Cole Snyder running away with this one with 1 mile left to race. Reese with the advantage up the inside. Snyder. White flag is out this time by, and Cole only has to hold on long enough. Reese gets around Lehman with the white flag in the air. Jake Millsap in 12th to the inside of Corey Blevins in the 4-8. There's Nate Lehman giving it one last ditch effort for the second position. Corey Blevins crashes behind him out of turn number 2 and put a clip in this one. Cole Snyder wins at Martinsville. The 2-4 DuPont Chevy comes to victory lane. The Pennsylvania native has earned his 3rd win of the season. He's the 2nd driver to complete the hat trick. The DuPont Camaro gets the victory, and this is going to turn these point standings upside down and inside out. Jose Ruiz gets the 2nd place finish. Josh Arnold finishing in 3rd. Jose Ruiz in 2nd. Nate Lehman finishing in 3rd. Q-Dog Enrique Quinones in 4th. Josh Arnold rounding out that top 5. Everybody coming to congratulate Cole Snyder as he comes down to do his celebrations. And he's having to continue to do circuits around the racetrack. And there is the 2-4. Finally getting his chance to celebrate. Cole Snyder wins the race. And once again, fans, top 3 interviews in just a moment. Top three on the podium, starting with our points leader in the 1-4, Mr. Lehman Ford Mustang. Nate, you had a dominating performance in the first half of this race, but when it came down to that final restart, it all sort of fell apart.
Yeah, it really fell apart when we got that late race yellow to kind of kick off the chaos at the end. I sped on pit road trying to keep up with Corey there, and unfortunately, it cost me a lot of track position. But we got a few yellows that kind of the C's parted in front of us, and then Cole just had a fantastic restart there on that last one, and I was able to keep side by side with him down the back straightaway, but I overcooked 3 and 4, and that was the race.
Even with that performance, your points lead increases to 58 markers headed next week into Michigan, and it's still your championship to lose. We'll see you in 7 days in the Irish Hills. Congrats, Nate.
Awesome. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it.
Our second place finisher, driver of the number 23 Dude Wipes Chevrolet, Jose Ruiz, so close to that victory, but you even managed to get around the points leader on that last restart. You had a good car in the end.
Yeah, I was perfectly fine running, I think, 5th where I was at. But got those couple cautions there. I was trying to win it. I won the truck race here. I don't know how long ago that was, about a month ago or so. But yeah, it was close. I wish I had one more extra lap. I was diving it in there the last couple corners after I got clear of Lehman there. I know Cole got away there when we were side by side for, I think, a lap or two, but gave it my best there at the end and just needed one more probably, but if not, second is perfectly fine.
A well-earned second place. You stay in 5th in the point standings headed into the quarterfinal at Michigan.
See?
Our race-winning interview brought to you by the folks over at di9 Designs, the custom graphic design page on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at di9 Designs. They post graphics on all platforms multiple times a week and take requests on logos, wallpapers, iRacing schemes, and more. Follow and DM them for more details. They are not affiliated with Hendrick Motorsports or Chase Elliott. Be sure to use code di9 Designs for free shipping on your diecast and merch orders over $20 on circlebdiecast.com. And now the winner. With his third victory this season, the 2-4 DuPont Chevrolet goes to victory lane yet again. Cole, you move up into 3rd in the points. You've got 414 markers to Chris Murphy's 435 with 3 races remaining.
It's gonna be a battle uphill, but we're ready to fight for it. Just grateful to grab this win. I think that's back to back. Kind of fell in my lap there with those guys getting speeding penalties, but like I said, those guys had the fastest cars, Corey and Nathan. I was content finishing 3rd, 4th to 5th, one of those 3, but I'm happy to get a dub here. I finally put a short track together, and it feels good.
Next week at Michigan, you and Nate will both try to be the first driver to win 4 races. Why will it be you, and why will you get your 3rd consecutive victory?
It's a loaded question. I just hope I got some good teammates behind me with the draft, because that's what it's going to be like. But I don't know. He's unbelievable this season, so it's going to be a fight every single week against him, and I look forward to it.
We'll see you in a week's time, Cole. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, man. Huge shout out to the whole CDR group, Enrique, Josh Arnold, and Nathan. I think we all got top 5s this race. Can't complain about that. Shout out to Mike for running this thing, you for broadcasting it, Jose for 2nd. Awesome job.
Fans at home, that puts another cap on yet another di9 Designs turn down for what Xfinity race. Of course, next week we're at Michigan, but before then, this Thursday, the TNT Season 4 final from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Those ARCA cars are a treat to watch, and you won't want to miss it. That's going to be right here on Rick James TV, Thursday, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Until that next race, everybody, please stay safe, do take care of each other, and we will see you all.